Well, today I want to do a video inspired a bit by the latest Thinking Atheist episode. And it's something I haven't really talked about much. I've talked with friends on Skype and whatnot, but this is something that from my childhood that I grew up on, telling you a bit about myself, which is the whole demons in the toy box phenomena, where every toy had some demonic, evil presence or feature or sinister means behind it. You know, that D&D, of course, was of Satan. It was all teaching kids to learn spells and cast things and do stuff. I even had a book, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles After the Bomb, role-playing Palladium book, and I had the mom flips through it, and the third page he flips to has a weasel character called Emmanuel. And my mom was like, "This is evil because it's here's Jesus and he's a cowardly weasel." And I'm looking at it, it's like, it's just a name. But because she decided that this was, you know, the evil name and there's some conspiracy, she didn't want me playing it. And I keep seeing this all the time. You know, it still happens a fair bit now, but not maybe because I'm no longer in Pentecostal church and whatnot. But it seems to be not as scary now, other than stuff like Jesus Camp. But this whole idea where people see conspiracies in everything. You know, like the whole J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter. It's all about teaching kids to be wizards and magic, and there's actual spells, and these kids will then become wizards and stuff in real life, and they'll start casting evil spells on friends and all demonic powers. And a lot of it's just sort of ridiculous. Like, companies don't think that far. They think about what's profitable, what kids like and enjoy. There's no huge conspiracy to turn kids into Satanists or Wiccans or whatnot. Yet people still see these things in every little toy. You know, and what I'm really curious about is, why do people believe the pastors and these people? These people are telling you this stuff. Like, a lot of it isn't even real. They're just making shit up. They're completely making shit up about what these toys supposedly represent and stuff. They're not actually representing what they think they are, but this is what people want to. In their mind, they think that Satan's doing everything to control kids. And this sort of goes back to my whole issue on, why do people trust what some layman says, some excuse? Somebody, a creationist, makes up some random bullshit and everybody accepts it, even though the scientists are going to, no, this isn't possible. You know, you hear stories about archaeology finds that have proven the Bible. When you actually look at it, that no, they haven't been misrepresented, or they don't show anything other than that this small part of the story in the Bible is true. Yet people completely buy into every single thing. It's like 2,000 years from now finding evidence of New York City and then thinking, well, that proves Spider-Man existed. Well, no. But people still buy into these things. Where I just go back to my previous video, which was on authority. Where people, somebody that's supposedly an authority figure, they'll accept and follow or believe or do what someone says, even when it doesn't make sense, because they assume because he's an authority figure, he knows what he's talking about. In a lot of cases, these people don't. When you actually talk to some of these guys, like, people that buy into stuff, a lot of these people have admitted that, no, they were just telling what sounded right. They didn't actually know what they were talking about. Good example was the book series This Present Darkness, and the sequel, I forget the name and the author. It started the whole idea of demon spirits and spiritual warfare and angels and demons fighting over the souls, and sort of created the whole image of this. It had always been there, but this sort of created the image that is actually happening. And people treated this as if it was scripture and as if it was actual. This guy had this incredible knowledge. The guy since admitted that he just made a story. It was entertaining. It was for Christians. He didn't. None of it was based on truth. Yet people bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Believed that, even though he didn't intend it that way, people believed this is how spiritual demons were and whatnot. This is the actual things going around us. Even they admit that some of this is just fiction and not meant to be taken literal. So I don't know. Have you guys that were Christians or are Christians, have you ever run into things like this where you're told something is demonic and evil and it doesn't really make sense, but you're told it by your parents or pastor because they're convinced of this? Let me know. Comment below if you ever have these encounters.